During the proxy battle with the Walt Disney Company, Nelson Peltz had the stock going up, up, up. Now that he has bowed out for the 2024 board seats, the Disney stock is down, down, down. That's no surprise if you've been watching this channel. And now, a new thing which probably will not surprise many of you. As Main Street continues to abandon the mouse, Wall Street is trying to bail them out.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stock? No, nothing.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. And what? Yes. Hold on a minute, folks. Yes, Jonas, I'm absolutely going to touch on the plushie doll. I promise. Sorry, Jonas is in my ear right now. Folks, we're here in the studio again, and of course, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's a joy as always, and yes, we'll talk about a plushie. We're watching the Disney stock as we speak. Drop down today, but over the month, it is way worse. Take a look at this. Back on April 2nd, the proxy battle had ended, and at that point, the Disney stock began to drop without Nelson Peltz in the seat. Now, it rose, though, slightly, ever so slightly in the last 24 hours, let's say, and not doing well today. We'll see how that goes. Of course, no predictions here, but we'll see how that goes. The question is, how will Disney do over the next 6 months or so? And to find out, let's go now to TipRanks. And this is reporting a bit of news here that you need to know. This by Steve Anderson. Folks, as we get into this topic today and we show you how Wall Street is trying to bail out Disney against Main Street, consider clicking the like button. All right, it says Wells Fargo hikes Disney rating, shares rise. That's the name of the article. Let's get into what the substance says. Good news for entertainment giant Disney, which was sufficient. Well, the good news for Disney was that it got a lift. It was sufficient to send shares up modestly in Tuesday's afternoon trading. The development that sent Disney up came thanks to a new analyst report that says the trouble of the proxy fight is now firmly in Disney's rearview mirror. Well, isn't that lovely? None of the rest of us knew that. Here's something, though, that you should probably know, and that is that Nelson Peltz, he just might return. So all this is apparently is an analyst declaring that the proxy battle's over. Well, wahoo! Who knew that? We did. Everybody else did, too. That's not really what it's all about. Here's what it says. 4 stars. Wells Fargo, an analyst, so Wells Fargo, major banking institution, Stephen Cahill, I'm going to bet, who has a 52% success rate. 52% success rate. I guess that's pretty good. I guess it's pretty good in calling these sorts of things. It's better than 50. Not quite the 92.5% we had in 2023 with our calls on scoops we had out of Hollywood, but 52%, I'm sure, much, much more difficult in finance. Noted that since Disney's board has now decided it can start focusing on execution once more. Well, golly gee whiz, isn't that just a Disney talking point? With Disney's sports business stabilizing and direct-to-consumer margins looking to improve, it's a set of good signs for the House of Mouse. Throw in the likely gains from streaming, adding Hulu content to Disney Plus by itself could add upward of $400 million in operating income, and that's another benefit to Disney and its focus on execution. Somebody should tell Mr. Cahill about this. This is the article out of That Park Place that we've gone to so many times because it's so important. Disney Plus nearly beaten in ratings by Tubi, according to Nielsen. Now Bob Iger must prevent another loss. This was given to us by Mac of now it's known over on Twitter/X. Disney, in integrating Hulu into their service, not only are they cannibalizing Hulu now down to 3% of streaming ratings, down from about 3.5 in 2023, and Disney down from 1.9% to 1.7%, almost beaten by Tubi. You know, these folks really need to pay attention to the coverage we give. They really, really do, because they seem to be significantly behind on the times when we report these sorts of things. They don't seem to know the sorts of things that we do, and therefore you do. It says, meanwhile, at the theme parks, execution may be the name of the game right now, but that's proving to be something of a mixed bag. For one, Disney has offered up a new policy on the treatment of the disabled in its parks. Now, listen, folks, here's the deal. We have covered the DAS system here, right? We have covered the conflict now where Disney has basically taken away a huge part of uh, allowing folks with disabilities to avoid the queues, right? We've covered that. But in terms of financial aspect, that has almost nothing to do at all with the theme parks. Now, maybe there could be a boycott that we just don't see on the horizon, but this has financially no impact. It's a moral impact on Disney, right? If you don't allow someone who has a physical disability, a true physical disability, to skip the line while their family goes through and then they can meet up at the end. That's a moral issue. It's an ethical issue. It's a kindness issue, but it's not a financial issue, probably. Unless they're trying to say that all those folks who were using this are now going to be forced to get Genie Plus, but surely that can't amount to a huge amount of money. It says, is Disney a good buy now? Turning to Wall Street, analysts have a strong buy consensus rating on Disney stock based on 24 buys, 3 holds, and 1 sell assigned in the past 3 months, as indicated by the graphic below. After a 14.28% rally in its share price over the past year, by the way, folks, we don't prognosticate or predict to you what we're going to, what's going to happen with stocks, because that's not our job here. And you don't need someone on the internet to do that to you. Sorry, Jim. You need your own financial analyst that you trust and value, that's in your area, that you can know personally to help you out with that. But we told you that the Disney stock price would rise because proxy fights make stocks rise. And guess what? It rose. And now guess what? It's going and going and gone. The average Disney price target of $124.44 per share implies 9.45% upside potential. Well, it's dropping now. Now look at this chart. This is what's amazing. Look at this chart. It stops before we get to what? Before we get to the drop. I'm not trying to be mean to these folks, and I'm not trying to say that I know more about finances than they do, and I'm not trying to tell you what to buy or sell or any of that. None of that. None. Zero. By the way, how's it going today? Down 0.02%. But folks, listen. What's happening here? Let's talk about what is happening. What is happening is that Main Street has left Disney, and Wall Street, that did not want to rock the boat with putting Nelson Peltz on the board, apparently, Wall Street is attempting to stabilize by declaring in dubious ways that Disney's just fine. They're not fine. Take a look at this article out of Fox Business. This is covering Jerry Seinfeld and what he's just said. It's by Lauren Overholtz. Jerry Seinfeld declares the movie business is over, not the pinnacle of society anymore. Why does this matter? Well, because Disney is essentially staking now its comeback on the box office after it just went all in on streaming. Remember, streaming not going so well for Disney. Do I need to bring up the chart again? Do I need to bring up the chart? Yep, there's the chart. Streaming not going so well for Disney. So they've got to go back to the box office. Why? Because, folks, Disney in 2019 had over $11 billion in box office revenue. Disney last year had just north of $4 billion, right? Easily over half of their movie business is gone. And there's no guarantee that Disney gets it back this year. So Disney needs to have at least $4 billion in box office revenue this year. That's what we're watching. That's what we're following. They need at least $4 billion in box office revenue. So why does this matter? What Jerry Seinfeld is saying? Well, because Jerry Seinfeld is saying the quiet part out loud. Jerry Seinfeld is saying it's going to be really hard for Disney to accomplish what they need to accomplish to get investors to feel safe with them once again. And remember, Wall Street, the institutions may be trying to shore up Disney, but the investors are dropping. The stock can't drop unless the investors do. So it's the investors who are worried. It's the institutions trying to stabilize that. Seinfeld had a few ideas about what might have replaced the industry's spot in the cultural hierarchy. He says depression, malaise, I would say confusion. And yes, Jonas, we'll get to it in a minute. Sorry, Jonas has been in my ear this morning wanting me to show you this thing at the end. Disorientation replaced the movie business. Everyone I know in show business every day is going, what's going on? How do you do this? What are we supposed to do now? Seinfeld isn't worried about the industry collapse due to his prolific career in comedy. You get the idea. He does Seinfeld. He's done Comedians in Cars. He says, I've done enough stuff that I have my own thing, which is more valuable than it's ever been. Stand-up is like you're a cabinet maker, and everybody needs a guy who's good with wood. There's trees everywhere, but to make a nice table, it's not so easy. quite the wordsmith there. But here's what he says. Audiences are now flogging to stand-up because it's something you can't fake. It's like a platform diving. You could say you're a platform diver, but in 2 seconds, we can see if you are or you aren't. That's what people like about stand-up. They can trust it. Everything else is fake. Now, what is Jerry Seinfeld saying in Scale? Folks, you can go read his full comments all over the web. We'll have links to that. But Jerry Seinfeld is basically saying that the movie business is over because people don't go see movies the way they did before. And we've talked about this. Audience levels for movie attendance right now sitting somewhere at like a third of what they once were, right? That's hidden and masked by the rise in ticket prices. So when people, say record-breaking movie releases, huge box office returns, that's because movie tickets cost $15 today, and 20 years ago they cost $5. That's how they managed to do that, right? But the actual butts and seats, not so good. And Disney needs a win. Disney needs a win because their streaming is failing, and they have to win at the box office. And how are they going to win at the box office? Well, they have to start winning with Inside Out 2. Set Planet of the Apes aside for a moment. That's not directly connected with Disney in a way that Inside Out 2 is, because it's not connected to the Disney brand. It's still under the 20th Century Fox brand, and that means that investors might not be so squeamish if it fails. But if Inside Out 2 fails, they're in real trouble. And why do we think Inside Out 2 might fail? Yes, Jonas. Yes, I'm going to show it right now. Sorry, folks. Jonas is just eager. He's eager for me to show this. That's right. It's an anxiety doll plushie. That's right. This is the character that Disney needs to succeed to get their stock stabilized. Anxiety. And if we take a look at anxiety on the box, I don't know if you can see this or not, but on the box it says shaking with anxiety. Here it is in the title over here. Shaking with anxiety is the name of this toy you can give your child. And so your 5-year-old can snuggle with anxiety, and batteries may be included. And if they're in there, why, it'll just shake and shake and shake. It's sort of like if instead of sadness, they made a toy called depression. And with just the press of a button, folks, you can watch it deflate and be in ultimate sorrow. That's on par with anxiety. So good luck. Good luck, Disney, with what you're trying to do. Good luck with stabilizing the stock with this kind of box office return. Why do they have to get the box office, though? And why do they have to do it with something like anxiety as their character du jour? Because streaming has failed. That is because Main Street is gone. And Wall Street is just now figuring that out. Great articles out of Forbes by Caroline Reed continue to pull back the curtain on Disney. It's a shame we didn't have them before the shareholders meeting, before the vote. But unlike what is being said, folks, unlike what is being declared by Wells Fargo, which is a wonderful bank, and full disclosure, I do banking with Wells Fargo. And you know what? Steve Anderson, probably a lovely guy. He's just reporting the news here out of TipRanks. But despite what Wells Fargo might tell you, you can't beat when Main Street says we're leaving, and they take their feet and they walk out the door. And Main Street has done that. Will they return to Disney once more? Hard to say. Hard to say, but we will find out shortly, in just about a month and a half, when Inside Out 2 lands in theaters. What a thing to watch and see. Run towards the doors, folks. If Inside Out 2 fails at the box office, Disney will be in dire straits then. Dire straits indeed. Hey, how about that? Did we call that anxiety doll for you or not? Months ago, told you they were going to try and get you to have your child cuddly with anxiety. They never fail, do they? They never fail to somehow at the same time meet our expectations and fall below them tremendously. All right, folks, one thing, though, that we could sure use. Like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And, folks, we want to apologize. Yesterday, we put out a video about Moana 2. Unfortunately, that video and its processing apparently had some major issues. We had to take that down. It's only the second time we've ever taken a video down. We took one other video down near the beginning of the channel, basically at the request of someone who was featured in the video that it was putting them into a position they didn't want to be in, and we felt that that was appropriate to do that. Not a source or anything like that, just somebody we didn't even know much about. So it's only the second time we've ever taken a video down, but it was garbled and messed up, and we surely do apologize for that. As soon as we caught it, we took that down for you. But folks, we'll continue doing what we do as long as you continue supporting us. We're so thankful for you. We hope you have a wonderful and beautiful day today. Keep learning, keep growing. Maybe don't buy that anxiety doll for your kids. And keep having fun.
What are you doing?
Well, I was feeling really behind and uneducated on all the happenings in the entertainment world. So, I was trying to work out a solution, specifically around 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And, well, this is what I came to.
That's not what that means.
Oh.
But, why wouldn't you just watch Midnight's Edge on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays? And on Tuesdays, on WDW Pro's channel, you got the Pro Show, and on Thursdays, you got That Park Place with Jonas and Vash.
Jonas? That guy sucks.
Well, feel free to jump in the chat and remind him of that regularly.
I won't feel free. I am free, baby. But I think you forgot something important.
What's that?
On Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, there's something really special that happens on Florals from Under a Rock.
Ah, right.
Under a Rock, where we don't simply talk about entertainment. We actually try to be the entertainment. Which, I mean, Floral, you're actually kind of dragging the show down, you know what I mean?
Well, theoretically, you and everyone else knows now what's happening at 12 Eastern Time throughout the week.
Yep. Now, just a point of clarity. You say 12 p.m. Eastern Time that the Midnight's Edge will be happening. Is Tom gonna commit to being on time?
That's a fair question.
Okay.